UFC 319 is this weekend, where we will see Dricus Du Plessis attempt to defend his middleweight championship against undefeated top contender Khamzat Chimaev. Welcome back to the BunkyMMA YouTube channel. We're going to break down the main card, give you a bunky bet at the end, get you some money, super rich stacks, V-Bucks. Speed the video up! Like, you guys are going to be fine, I promise. You're going to be okay. We're gonna get through it. You speed the video up, pussy. This is actually a really good card. Prelims, main card included. The only bitching complaint I have is the poster. Like, we've done this so many times, you know. Like, we can put some juice into it. But yeah, like I said, pretty good card. Co-main event. Aaron Pico doesn't even have a picture. Fucking multi-billion-dollar company, by the way. Co-main event. Anyway, kicking off the pay-per-view, we have Tim Elliott taking on Kai Asakura. As of recent, hold on. Sorry, I just caught like good wind of Tim Elliott's tattoo. Is that the BLM fist? Is that what that is? I don't. Fuck if I know. But what is that? Anyway, I believe Kai Asakura is the favorite here. The odds aren't listed on the official UFC website yet, but I think Kai Asakura is coming in like minus 250. The only thing that makes me nervous for this matchup is that it seems to be the age of the unks. Michael Johnson, big upset over Daniel Zellhuber. Neil Magny just got a win. The unks are just fraud checking these big favorites. I mean, even if we just look at the last pay-per-view, UFC 318, every single underdog won besides Dustin Poirier in the main event, right? So with Tim Elliott having the momentum here coming off of a win, Kai Asakura coming off of a loss, you could definitely raise some eyebrows there, but Kai Asakura also debuted in the UFC in a title shot against Pantoja, who you all, if you watch the channel, know how I feel about Pantoja. I think he's the most underrated fighter on the whole entire roster. While Tim Elliott does have good wrestling, I don't think he's going to be able to grab and neutralize Asakura like Pantoja did. So I think Kai Asakura is going to go out there, finish Tim Elliott. The guy's full of highlights. I think he's going to get another one here early on the main card of 319. MVP Michael Venom Page opening as a slight minus 180 favorite here. God, just look at the fucking difference in physiques. Like, not that matters. Paulo Costa would be a gazillion-time world champion, but Jared Cannonier looks fucking huge compared to Michael Venom Page right now. That out of the way, I do think this is going to be one of those situations where MVP just kind of stick and pokes Jared Cannonier into a decision victory. But with that being said, dude, I want to pick Jared Cannonier so fucking bad. Let me think. God, this is just going to be a weird one. This is going to be a weird fight to a decision. Like, I'm having a hard time picking it. I'm not going to lie. You won't be finding this on the parlay. You won't be I'm not throwing any money towards Cannonier. I have no fucking clue what's gonna happen. It's one of those power versus speed. Like, MVP's a welterweight, but his last fight against Shara, right? That was at middleweight. He looked good. Kind of derailed Shara's big hype train coming in. Man, like, MVP's skilled enough to beat any of these pure strikers. But like, you come to a fighter that's more well-rounded, stronger, may be able to mix in the wrestling. Like, we saw Ian Gary kind of held MVP for a bit. Ian Gary was able to out-wrestle MVP. But the speed difference here is going to look fucking nuts. Like, MVP is just going to look, he's driving 70 miles per hour in a school zone. Jared Cannonier's walking an old lady across the crosswalk, you know. Man, I'm going with my gut here. I think MVP is going to point it to a decision. I just think he's going to be faster than Cannonier. He's not going to stand in front of Cannonier, right? He's going to be in and out. But like I said, man, Cannonier mixes in the wrestling well here. He could definitely lay on. The only thing I'm confident about is that this shit's going to a decision. That's the only thing I feel confident about with this fight. But I am going to roll with MVP here. I think he's going to take care of business. Speaking of previous Ian Gary opponents, we have Geoff Neal and Carlos Prates moving up the main card of UFC 319. Now, this is what you do when you take a loss. You get the fuck back in there, right? So big from Carlos Prates here. Carlos Prates, middle of round 3. We've just navigated through 2 rounds of a dogfight, maybe 1-1. I see Carlos Prates blasting a knee in the middle right? Maybe throwing an elbow in there as well. I think it's going to start with a knee. We're going to get a finishing sequence, late TKO from Carlos Prates to get Geoff Neal out of there. That's just what I see. I just see it in my mind. I close my eyes. I can see it. I can see Carlos Prates in a dogfight, blast a knee, learning from his mistake from Ian Gary, right? He could have very easily finished Ian Gary at the last round of their fight there, but made one of the dumbest decisions I've seen, right? I think Carlos Prates is going to be one of those people who learns from his mistakes. And if there's a situation where he is down 0-2 to Geoff Neal going into the third, Carlos Prates will be able to bite down on his mouthpiece. Like I said, I think it's going to start with a knee. Carlos Prates going to get Geoff Neal out of there and get some of his momentum back after that loss to Ian Gary. This is nuts. I need a fucking picture of Aaron Pico. Bang. Fucking, there we go. God, these Bellator fighters. All right, Aaron Pico making his UFC debut against the number 6th ranked featherweight in the world, Lerone Murphy. Get this, Lerone Murphy is actually a underdog in this fight against Aaron Pico. So I'm going to just put it out there now. I probably would have picked Lerone Murphy here, even if he were a favorite. So the fact that I'm getting plus money on Lerone Murphy, I mean, Now, Lerone Murphy's one of those Movsar, Magomed type of fighters where they just win so much, but they're so, I don't want to say boring, because they're winning these fights because they have great technique. They're super smart. They know how to control distance. Play the game, and they play the game to the best of its ability, right? Hurt and don't get hurt. You saw a lot of the same stuff during Israel Adesanya's title reign. A lot of people were saying his fights were boring because he was just getting in there, getting the job done, and getting out, right? That's kind of the curse I see Lerone Murphy suffering from. Yes, I think Aaron Pico hits harder than Lerone Murphy. Yes, I think Aaron Pico is a better wrestler than Lerone Murphy. He's got great takedown defense. Aaron Pico is also massive for 145, right? He's big for the division. And to be honest, I kind of thought the original booking, Movsar Evloev versus Aaron Pico, was a better matchup for Aaron Pico, right? Because he has such great takedown defense. But man, these debuts for these Bellator guys, whether it was going to be Evloev or the fact that it is Murphy right now, I mean, we are just throwing these Bellator guys to the fucking wolves immediately. No tune-ups, but man, co-main, UFC 319, lights too bright. I'm just saying, dude, it's Patchy Mix, really. I'm traumatized from Patchy Mix. That's what it is, to be honest. But yeah, give me the underdog, Lerone Murphy, here to get it done against Aaron Pico in what people are going to call a boring decision victory. And we've made it to the main event of the evening. Dricus Du Plessis defending his UFC middleweight championship against Khamzat Chimaev. Man, I have heard a lot of dialogue with this fight, right? You've heard all the jokes. You've heard all the jokes. You've seen all the bits. DDP by falling piano. DDP by drawing a hole in the floor and making Khamzat fall through it. You know, that's what we're looking at here. And then the narrative, of course, being, Khamzat's going to win it. It's going to be first round domination. But if he gets past that first round, DDP, I don't just want to sit here and regurgitate everything that everyone has been saying 24/7, right? And trust me, it is really hard not to. I wanted to sit here and just rip a list of fucking dumb DDP jokes. But you all are here for cogent analysis, as you can tell by my photo selection. I'm going in new. I think Khamzat Chimaev is going to be the one who defeats DDP. Listen, I'm gonna be completely honest with you. My YouTube channel is so new. My TikTok is so new. A lot of you all don't know the takes I've had years in the past, right? I want it to be out there. I want it to be on this video now. I want everyone to know. I picked against DDP against Whitaker. I picked against DDP against Adesanya. I picked against DDP in Strickland 1. The only time I picked DDP was Strickland 2. But hypothetically, maybe I was thinking he was going to lose to Derek Brunson as well. I'm not gonna go out there and say that, but I have picked against DDP a lot, and he's never lost in the UFC, actually. So, with that out of the way, I mean, I'm definitely not a fan of DDP being the underdog here. I'm also not a fan of Khamzat's custom shorts. I see the vision. They just look really tacky. I just don't think these are probably the worst shorts, worst custom shorts in the game. I'm just going to say that. Well, okay. We're not, Justin Gaethje and Michael Chandler's custom shorts don't count. Neither do Ian Gary's or Patty Pimlet's, because Ian Gary's are just purple and Patty's are just orange. Solid colors don't count. These personalized design, Worst shorts I've seen. Shorts, custom fight kit tier list coming soon. The argument against Khamzat Chimaev is always going to be people bringing up Gilbert Burns, people bringing up Kamaru Usman. Yes, I also scored that Usman fight a draw. But I'm delusional and think that the Nigerian Nightmare is still the Nigerian Nightmare and not just the co-host of the Pound for Pound podcast. So I'm not going to hold a close win against Kamaru Usman against Khamzat Chimaev. He 10-8'd him in the first round, regardless of if I scored those next two for Usman, right? The utter domination Khamzat showed in that first round. I mean, Jesus Christ. To dominate the wrestling that Usman has like that, it just wouldn't make sense to me if DDP beat Khamzat. Because you know what happens if DDP beats Khamzat? He's in middleweight GOAT conversations. You guys hear what I just said? Dricus Du Plessis, if he beats Khamzat Chimaev, is in middleweight GOAT conversations. And if he beats Khamzat Chimaev, fuck it, he's pound for pound one. And I close my eyes, I think really hard here. DDP pound for pound one, DDP middleweight GOAT. It just, it can't be. It can't be. It can't be. It can't be. The other thing that sucks, I think Khamzat's going to win. Khamzat's activity as a champion, man, I feel like his activity as a champion is going to be horrific. I think it's going to be awful. And I think it is going to have some harm to the middleweight division when Khamzat gets this done. Now, I don't think Khamzat is going to get this by first round domination, right? I think DDP is going to survive into the second round. The things you're hearing is that Khamzat Chimaev is going to dominate and finish DDP in round one, or DDP is going to, quote, quote, survive round one, because Khamzat's the best round one fighter in the UFC, right? And then put it on him and beat Khamzat. What I think is going to happen, I think this is going to a decision. I think this is going to be similar to Khamzat's fight against Gilbert Burns. I think this is going to be similar to DDP's first fight against Sean Strickland, mainly because I believe when Khamzat Chimaev eventually gets his takedown, gets DDP on the ground, I don't see DDP worrying and losing his mind, which most opponents do when Khamzat has their back, right? Everyone's game plan against Khamzat, you got to avoid the takedowns. You can't get taken down, right? I don't think DDP gives a fuck. And I think that's going to be a really, really big component into him outlasting the first round and then lasting the next four with Khamzat Chimaev across from him, right? And I think we will see Khamzat fade in those rounds 3 and 4, maybe with a last final stretch in a round 5 that could be a coin flip, right? I think they're going to go round for round. I think the narrative at the end of this fight is going to be that was closer than we thought it was, to the point where we might even see it again. But hey, I could say all that, and Khamzat could go out there and ragdoll DDP in the first round, or what everyone is saying, DDP survives the first round and then puts it on Khamzat, right? But in my mind, this is a fucking UFC title fight. And although we have Ilya Topuria kind of clouding everyone's mind that this isn't true, but title fights aren't fucking easy, right? I think both of these guys are going to be pushed to the limit. I think this is DDP's hardest fight. I think this is Khamzat's hardest fight. And I am super fucking excited to watch this go down. Like I said, I'm really excited for this whole card, man. This, UFC 320, UFC 321, I don't want to say we're back, but it looks like we're eating.
I have an unhealthy obsession with spending money, but I have a healthy obsession with making it.
You know what that means? It's time for the Bunky Bet, where I give you my parlay for the UFC card this weekend. Bang, here it is, my three-legger for UFC 319. Kai Asakura minus 280, Lerone Murphy plus 144, Khamzat Chimaev minus 150. This puts the Bunky Bet in my area plus 452. What a juicer. I'm feeling pretty confident about this one. Sports betting, it's not legal in my state, but I do want to kind of ease you all that I have some good friends who watch and support the videos. Shout out my brother Rami, who genuinely sometimes put money on the Bunky Bets. But it's safe to say I've let them down recently. But give me Kai Asakura to restore balance and get rid of the age of the unks. Give me Lerone Murphy to upset and spoil Aaron Pico's UFC debut. And give me Khamzat Chimaev and new middleweight champion of the world. Next time you'll see me will be the night of the pay-per-view after it is all said and done, to give you my instant reaction, see how we did, break it down, do some matchmaking, and look forward to the future of the sport. I appreciate all the love and support, whether that's here on the YouTube or the TikTok. It's a good card, man. I'm excited.